usually I wear black, grey, and then I let the shoes do the talking. So I always wanted socks. Yeah. I wanted socks that go with the shoes.
Say the same thing. You're going to see me plain Jane in it, but my shoes
I might have a little logo or something like that, or there might be something on the back, but yeah.
My shoes sing, man. I make it. No, I love that, man. Let my shoes do the talking. Facts. Yes, my people, do PROZECH back again, and you already know what it is. Kicks Chronicles, your sneaker and lifestyle podcast. Today, I have an amazing guest, somebody that I met very recently at Kicks and Coffee. You know how much I love Kicks, and you know how much I love coffee. Shout out to Joe Palmley. You get me? I was at the Kicks and Coffee event. In fact, I was hosting one of the panel discussions at the event, and as I walked into the venue, just by the door, something caught my eye. An array of amazing socks caught my eye. And just behind them was the widest smile. And you can see it now. You get me? Very, very friendly. It was Joe Wilkinson from JOCKS Socks. You get me? So shout out to Joe. Thank you for being on the podcast. What you saying, my bro?
Thank you for having me, brother. Like you said, it was a pleasure to meet you straight away. As soon as you walked in, I was like, hello, I know who this guy is. So, it was a pleasure to meet you straight away. I
appreciate you. You didn't know who I was. That's
no, you telling me I had the podcast before. No. Don't bring that up in here.
You know what, man? I appreciate you, bro. That's very humbling to hear, man. But, bro, this ain't about me today. This is all about you. We want to hear about Joe. We want to hear about your story. So let's take it right back to the beginning, bro. What was that shoe that got you into the game, your first love? What was that first shoe, bro?
I think I was 13 or 14 and was watching TV one day, and because this was going back to the time when I was still young enough. We didn't really go out in those ages yet at 13, 14, back in the 90s and the early 2000s. Wasn't old enough to go out yet. And I saw the David Beckham Climber Cool advert where he was walking along the beach.
Cool. Yeah.
And that was it. You know what? It was literally like watching some sort of beautiful, I mean, he's a gorgeous man anyway, but when he seen him dance those shoes, I was sat there, I was like, what are those? And then that was it. The begging for my parents started. I had to have them.
Do you know what? Yeah, shout out to you, Joe. Climacles don't get enough love, man. Climacles don't get enough love, man. We need to put a little bit more respect on the Climacles. The thing about Adidas is, like, with respect to Adidas, they lean heavily into the heritage. They've got some really, really cool sort of heritage silhouettes, obviously, like the Gazelle and the Sambas and the ones that everybody knows. Superstar, exactly, right? But every so often, they come up with a little bit of technology that's quite interesting. And can be hit and miss, but I think the Climacles had their place in time, and I think they were pretty cool. Man. So I got a lot of love for the Climacles, and obviously
they weren't just pretty cool. They weren't just pretty cool. They were the coolest.
They were Climacool. They weren't just pretty cool. They were Climacool, right?
Yeah, so they were absolutely, and I think I managed to get a pair probably after about 2 months of begging later. I think my parents managed to buy me a pair, and
very well done.
Yeah, and then I think I literally wore them I wore them all seasons. Like, my feet were cold. I wore them in winter. I wore them anywhere, and they lasted me. I made those last shoes probably about 2 years, I reckon. I was wearing those day and night. Oh,
that's a solid tenure. That's a solid tenure right there. 2 years. So 2 years of daily use is probably about 3 years in today. It's probably about 5 years in today's money, man. That's respectable. That's very respectable. And with the Climacles, obviously, the idea was the sort of breathable technology to be able to, like, cool your feet and whatever. Like, and to be fair, I mean, if you think about it, in the UK climate, do you really need cool feet?
Terrible shoes.
But with our wind chills and whatnot, but definitely a cool idea, and it was a cool looking shoe. So I'm definitely vibing with the Climacles. What area did you grow up?
So I was North London, so I grew up in Enfield.
Shout out to Enfield. We love the North.
Yeah. So I grew up in Enfield. Yeah, I don't live there anymore. We moved out a few years back, but so I grew up in Enfield. Grew up in North London.
From being honest, Joe, I've heard there's a little bit of trouble down there every so often. So maybe you
There
made the right
wasn't when I was
choice.
younger, but now I think there's it's not quite what it used to be, but
No, it's
yeah.
definitely not what it used to be. With respect. Don't come
Oh
for
God,
me.
yeah, it's fine. I'm from there. I can say it.
But the reason I ask you that is when you were growing up in your heyday, what were the shoes that you would see on people's feet in North London?
So Air Maxes, Air Max 1s, Air Max 9, they're probably more than 90s to be fair. A lot of my friends, because around about that time when I was hitting secondary school, it was Oxide Neutrino, all those sort of people coming through. So Solid Crew, all that sort of stuff. So everyone was in the 90s and the TNs just started popping. So everyone, I can never get my hands on a pair of TNs. They always used to sell out, and like only a few people in our year group used to have them. So if people used to come into school wearing them, it'd be like that. Oof, where did you get those from? But mainly sort of the Air Max 1s and Air Max 90. I think probably more towards the Air Max 90s, to be honest.
I respect that, man. Air Max 90 is a legendary shoe. That was one of my first sort of proper shoes. Shout out to my cousin Sammy. He put me on, took me to First Sport, got me like a pretty sort of standard grey and navy blue pair. Did me the world of good, man, because I was struggling before that. I can't lie. So yeah, shout out to the Air Max 90. So yeah, definitely a fire shoe, man. Did you ever have to get involved in that Unholy Grails?
No.
Okay, this is interesting. You're answering the question like you know what I'm talking about. Are you 100% sure?
I think so. I'm going to bet you that thing person now, or hopefully you explain it. I'll go, yes, I do know where that is.
I will explain it. So, an Unholy Grail is what I refer to as an off-brand shoe, something that you might get old school in Sports Direct and Everlast or a Slazenger. You get me, like a High Tech or a Mercury. Those shoes that tire manufacturers wear. Right?
You've just jogged my memory. Yeah, you've just jogged my memory. I did. Yes, I did. No, I didn't avoid it. I did have a pair.
It was about the dark art. Did you dabble? Yeah.
I remember my mate had a pair of I can't remember the name. I can look it up. It's a TN model, but it's not like the Supreme sort of model. Not that one. It's a different one. They re-released it about 2 or 3 years ago. I'll have a look at it in a second and find out which one it is. And my mate had a pair, and I was desperate, but they were expensive at the time. I think even then they were like 150, 160. And there was no way my parents was buying those when I was still rocking my Climacles as well. So I'd sort of again begged, and my parents took me to JJB Sports.
Shout out to JJB, love it.
I basically picked a pair that looked as close to it as I could get, and I think they were high techs. And they were they were awful. I mean, they were comfy. I remember being really comfy. But I wore them to my mate's house, and obviously we left the shoes at the front door, and my mate came downstairs, and I got rinsed for them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's a rinse-worthy shoe. The thing is,
rinsed.
People were not trying to hear about its comfort or its. I'm saying its orthopedic credibility. They're not trying to hear about how good it feels on the foot.
Support.
Nah, they're not trying to hear none of that. It's terrible. The thing is, none of the positive qualities of the shoe where people are trying to hear. They just gunning you because it's a high tech. It's terrible. I was there myself. Yeah, no, come on now. I'm saying they did their best. They did the best. And the thing is, as a brand, obviously, that wasn't their forte. They did other things very well. And there are a number of brands that sort of dipped into sort of that sort of dark art territory that obviously did other things and were prominent in other areas. But it's fun to look back and have a look at those things, you know, and look where we are now. You've got a whole sock company because of your love for kicks. So I think the game's changed. I think we're in a good place.
Just a little bit. We're pretty lucky.
Yeah. We're pretty good. I think what we're gonna do now, man, is I've introduced a new segment. It's fast becoming one of my favorite segments now. It's the Kicks Chronicles community question, and this week is a special one because this week is actually from my wife, right? You get me? It's from Mrs. RH on Instagram, Mrs. R.H on Instagram. If you could collaborate with any brand, what would it be and why? And I think this is a good question for you, but considering you produce a product that quite conceivably could be co-branded with a really like
Hmm.
with a big brand, and we are influenced by the sneaker sort of community and the sneaker industry, and collaborations are hot tickets. So I can imagine you probably had a think or two on possible collaboration partners. So what would you say? And after you go, I'll give it a bash as well.
I think if I'll be completely honest, I think if you asked me this question maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I think probably the answer straight away would have been Supreme. I think because those collabs, I mean, that there's just constant collabs to me with them. Seems to be like that nowadays. But I think to be able to have a JOCKS SOX Supreme collab would have been absolutely unbelievable. It would I mean, today it would still be amazing today. Don't get me wrong, but I think the way not my taste, my taste buds have sort of changed over the last few months, and probably over the last sort of 9-10 months actually, is I think I'd probably veer towards New Balance. I think
You like
I'd
that?
love to have a New Balance collab, definitely. I really like the way they're going. I'm a huge Action Bronson fan. I love the way that he collabs on all those clothes, all those shoes, everything like that, and that's sort of veering me down that road a little bit. So I think probably now I'd say New Balance.
That's a great shout. That's a great shout. Also because of how sort of like when I had the opportunity to look at your socks and stuff like that, they were very well made, very well constructed, and
Thank
that's
you.
obviously some of the sort of the earmarks and icons that New Balance also utilize, like good use of fabrics, good use of materials, also like I'm saying like vibrant and stuff like that. I could see it. I could see it. He's also got the New Balance top on, so he's obviously playing for the team. So New Balance, if you are watching, right, let's make this happen. And because it happened on my podcast, I'll only take 10% and a couple
you can have 15, man.
15% and a couple of pairs of socks. You get me? But yeah, no, I feel like that's a great shout. I think for myself, if I could, let's say if I was like collaborating on a shoe, or let's take it away from shoes for a second. We've got the podcast. Let me say, if I was collaborating with a brand on this podcast, if I was bringing a brand onto the podcast, what brand would I bring in for a collaboration? Maybe like a one-off episode. Do you know what? A brand that I really do like the story of is there's a couple, man. I do love the story of Pata. Pata is a really, really cool brand. So I do love their story in terms of their sort of their brand ideologies, their ethos, and sort of where it's like essentially it's an African brand, sort of based in Europe, which is I'm an African based in Europe sort of thing. So it's kind of like it kind of fits. So Pata would be a really good one. I've shouted them out before.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, I think having a Pata sponsored or a Pata co-branded podcast would definitely be vibes. Is there anywhere? Do you know what? I'm sticking with the Pata, man. I'm putting that in. I'm putting that out there. I'm putting that out there, man. Shout out to Pata, man. Shout out to Pata. We love Pata. You get me? I got a couple of Pata pieces right behind me as well. So yeah, we love Pata, and I've got the chlorophylls downstairs. I finally got them. Got the chlorophylls downstairs. So yeah, happy days, man. So yeah, really, really good question. Shout out to my missus. You get me? Mrs. Sorry, I think let me make sure I get this right. Mrs_R.H. Shout out to you. Thank you very much for your amazing question. We are going to move swiftly on to one of my favorite parts of the show. It's where we talk a little bit about your collection. It's the EST of KIC. And when I say EST, I mean the oldest, the newest, the rarest, the best, the greatest, and all of the above, right? So if I was to ask you what's the oldest shoe in your collection, what is that shoe?
Currently, I have a pair of Air Max 1s that are probably, I think they're from 2011.
Decent.
I think they're 2011, either 2013 or 2011. But the cracking has just started. I realised that I wore them. We went to Chesington the other day with the kids. And I sort of looked down at one point and I noticed next to the air bubbles, a chunk had come away and I was like, oh no, this is it. This is the final life. So they're in the back of the car at the moment. I'm too scared to touch them again. But they've had a good, they've had a a damn good life, actually. So if they
Yeah,
do
that's
go, they
awesome.
go. That's not the end of the world. If they go, I'll just have to replace them with another pair. So yeah, I want to say
What
2011. I think they are.
2011? That's a great level. 2011. What's that? It's like 13 years. Yeah,
Yeah, so
13 years.
I got them from Carnaby Street. I think it might have been size on Carnaby Street. Definitely got them from Carnaby Street because I remember seeing someone wearing them and I said I've got to have them. And it took me a while to find a pair in that size because I'm size 11. And
Yeah, big size.
Anything trying to find anything over a 10 and a half or a 10 is near enough impossible. It's ridiculous.
You're preaching to the choir, buddy, man. I'm a size 12.
Yeah.
And
boy, so it's even worse.
It's just what we're just getting the straggling. It's whatever people just don't want. Like the Warriors got like a very, very small amount in terms of like size runs as well. So that's the reason why I probably haven't won anything on the sneakers app. I'll ask you that later, but I haven't won anything on the sneakers app in years at this point. So it is what it is. But you know, we're not gonna go down that sort of like Warriors me road. I think I've done okay.
Yeah,
get me like first. This is it. First world problems. I'll be okay. Don't cry for me. We'll be good. You get me like. But yeah, so that's the oldest, which is very, very decent. By the way, what color on that?
It's royal blue. I think it's royal blue. It's called, isn't it? Yeah. So one of the OG ones. Yeah.
We love that. So let's flip the script and go to the news. What's the newest shoe you got in the collection?
I bought them early. They got released today, but I bought them a couple of weeks early because I thought they were going to go mental. And it's a pair that I don't often use the word grail, but for me, these are insane. Like potentially shoe of a very long time, not even a year, for a very long time, is the COJP Dunks that released today, the multicolored ones.
Wow.
So I bought those early because I thought they were going to just sell out, because those have always been like the mythical shoe for me, like almost like the Wu-Tang Dunks. They only ever released in Japan. You're never going to see a pair of them. Never ever saw a pair in my size for sale ever. So when I saw I remember seeing Calf's story and just losing my mind that they were coming back out again. So yeah, I bought them about 3 or 4 weeks ago and I've worn them loads, and they are comfortable. They are well made. The materials on them are great. But for me, that's the newest shoe, and they've gone straight into the top shelf in my room.
Do you know what? I respect it, man, because obviously COJP, like loads of like different like kicks that have come out over the years. That silver Jordan 1 that came out during I think there was a one that came out during lockdown, but I think there was a special box version that came out in Japan as well. Mm-hmm. Like always really, really high quality materials, which is great, which is what we need, because obviously what happened with Dunks was that the materials then went left. And I feel like obviously the association with COJP or this particular what's the name, guarantees that the quality is there. So you can attest to the fact that the quality is good on these, the material is good on these. Giving the Dunks a little bit of a resurgence, which is nice as well, giving them a little bit of love, because I feel like since lockdown, Dunks have died a little bit of a death. You have to be real.
Definitely.
But yeah, kind of like a what the COJP. Yeah, very cool shoe. Very cool.
Yeah, I absolutely love him.
I too, shout out to Kaf. I too saw his story and I was like, yeah, man, those 3 years ago, those shoes would go for like £300-400.
They would have been a disgraceful resale.
The next day. I mean, it's at the height of the lockdown, and what Dunks were doing in terms of resale was just unbelievable. But yeah, very, very cool shoe, and I got a lot of time and respect for Dunks.
And just checking on sneakers, every single size is still available. So I can't. For me, I can see why. I completely get why. But I thought they were. That's why I got. Like I said, I got them early because I thought they were just gonna kick on straight away. But yeah, so it's fine. I can double up.
Did you end up having to pay quite a lot for getting them in early?
No, so because I got them from StockX, which I know can be a little bit of a sort of touchy subject at the moment. But because they released a few weeks earlier in America, so my pair came from, I think originally it came from Georgia. I was looking at it. I paid like £12-13 over retail, which is ridiculous. Which I'm absolutely fine to do. Absolutely fine.
That's not bad at all. Yeah, these are actually, I'm looking at them now, and you're absolutely right. Literally
every size.
Yeah, size 3 all the way up to 14, all available, reasonable price. And this is the funny thing. I think during lockdown, the price originally started at $89.95 or something like that. Ended up working its way up to a cool 100. I think it was like $99.95 or something like that. Now it's $109.99, and I can actually see in terms of this particular dunk why they've gone with that price, because it is like as you said, it is a really well constructed dunk. It's got some good materials on it, and this is the kind of dunk that you can literally wear with anything because of all the different colors. Like, it just stands alone. You don't have to sort of try and work with it. It kind of just does its own thing. So it's a very, very cool shoe, man. So yeah, I'm not mad at that whatsoever. We like that. Let's go to, what would you say is your greatest pair of shoes?
Ooh, my greatest. So I think it's my favorite silhouette is a Jordan 1 Low. Has been for a long, long time. That's why I get excited whenever I see the new colours coming out and they're dropping them. That's absolutely fine. Like, if they do to Dunks what they did to Jordan, absolutely fine. Like, I've got no issues with that.
You're scooping them all up.
I'll keep snapping them up. They keep making them up. I'll keep snapping them up.
Now's the time, for real. 100%.
I'll keep snapping them up. I think probably, I've always amened between, I was lucky enough to hit the OG Travis Lows on sneakers, which was the Moccas, which was crazy for me. I got very lucky that Offspring, managed to win the raffle in the Offspring for the Fragment Travis as well. So
that's
it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up between those two.
The Fragment Lows, crazy, crazy shoe.
It is a beautiful shoe, and as soon as I got them, stuck pink laces in them. I stuck light pink laces in them.
Of course, it's only right. It's only right. Beautiful shoe. Beautiful shoe.
So I know that's going down towards like the hype mode and all that sort of stuff and everything. But when you look at them, when you look at the Fragment Lows and the color blocking on it and everything like that, it's absolutely stunning. The materials are good. So it's a toss-up between the Moccas and the Fragments, but I would probably say the Fragments, I think.
Do you know what? I'm 100% with you. And I get where you're coming from in terms of the hype, because that's like the height of the hype beast era. That was right dead in the center of it. But the truth is, Fragment are goated. It's one of the greatest collaborators and designers in the game. Obviously, Travis, for all the good and bad, like, nobody can take away the legacy. No. Respectfully, nobody can take it away. No. He might not be like everyone's cup of tea, right? But he innovated, right? And he breathed life into Jordan, into the Jordan 1. He breathed life into that shoe. Now, don't get me wrong. It's a popular shoe on its own. Yes, we get it. But the thing is, that backwards swoosh, the various collaborations, like the timing of the things that he was doing in terms of when he would drop, and I know now, obviously, is every 3 to 4 months a new Travis Jordan 1 is coming out. But at that time, it was really, really special. It was a different time, and these shoes are really, really special shoes. And I'm a massive fan of that particular shoe as well. Both of those shoes, actually, but definitely the Fragment Low is high on my list as a shoe that I would like to get. And you know, as the market's going down little by little, I might be able to pick it up at some point. So
I mean, don't get me wrong,
it's slightly more affordable.
I've been really lucky to get some very, very good pairs over the last, God knows how. I've been trying to get them since I was 13. I'm 36 now, so it's been a fair few years, and a fair few pairs have fallen apart on me, and all the cliches and all those sort of things. But I've been very lucky to get a fair few pairs, and although, like, I know we're going to talk about it later, my luck with certain companies, things like that, I've never hit anything, but with a couple I've been relatively lucky with, which has been a bit of a huge blessing. So I'm very lucky to have them, and it's a great pair to own as well. So
very, very cool. If I was to ask you how many shoes you reckon you have in your collection, if you were to put like a ballpark figure, or if you have an exact figure, obviously that's perfect, but if you have a ballpark figure, how many would you say?
Before we had kids, I had a shoe room, which was great. And
That's
then
where the
when the kids
priorities lie.
came along, the shelves had to be taken down, and I'll be
Respect it.
honest, I had to sell a few pairs because there was way too many pairs in there, and little children have grubby hands.
Absolutely.
And I think it's hard to put a number because I think there's a fair few stashed under the bed that I've forgotten about as well, that I've hidden from the wife.
I love that.
There's a fair few in my cupboard that I know are stashed away that I say are empty boxes, but there's shoes in there as well.
Absolutely.
I think at the moment I'm anywhere between sort of 30, I'd say about 35-ish at the moment. I think I am.
That's decent.
I'm trying to be really good. As I'm getting older, I'm trying to be more sensible, which is, it's failing because adult money turns to fund kids' toys and all that sort of stuff. And I keep buying stupid things. I buy the Lego Optimus Primes and stuff like that.
This is so weird. I mean, I think we're of a similar age. I might be a couple of days older than you, but like, once you get to a certain age, I think just the nostalgia of you being able as an adult to be able to like sort of fund your addiction, like it's just one of those things, man. So it's like, yeah, I do have an agreement with my wife. I think I've got a similar amount. I don't really hold a massive, like some people really do like have huge collections. I can't really legislate for a massive collection. But I do love kicks. And if I could, I would. If everything was good in life and if I had like everything else covered, there were certain shoes. I mean, I definitely would be going for, and I definitely would have looking for, absolutely. So yeah, I think 35 is absolutely respectable. I mean, on Kicks Chronicles, we're about connections, not necessarily the size of the collection. So the amount that you have is secondary to the connections that you have to the shoes. And that's what I'm more about. I'm more focused on getting shoes that you really love. There's a story behind and you really like. And like hearing you talk about kicks is actually really, really cool, man, because I feel like we've got similar references and it's been really nice. Yeah, hearing your perspective on certain things. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna go, what is that shoe? Or it might be a group of shoes, right? That are just stuck behind the door. Those bop to the shop shoes. The ones that you always, like, come rain, come shine, you're going to wear them once or twice a week, right?
Yeah.
What are those shoes? They're all stuck behind the door. There might be 3 or 4 in the rotation. Take me through those shoes, man.
There's a couple. So there's a pair by the front door and there's a pair by the back door.
Love
the back door is the black 350 V2s. I've worn those to death. The Onyx pair, they have.
That is one of my best. I wear them to work pretty much every day. Just a great shoe to walk in.
Yeah,
like just
comfort
personified. Just looks after your foot. Obviously with the rain, it's not as great, but if it's not raining, you're absolutely perfect. Good comfort, great shoe. And then
by the front door, what's been up for quite a few months now actually is the LeBron James the Fruity Pebble Dunks.
Really?
I love those. I destroyed them. I regret how much I destroyed them actually because I'd hunted for a good few weeks to get those because again in 11 they were sold out everywhere. And then I randomly stumbled across someone on Facebook, I think, and they were selling them for retail because they didn't need them or something like that. So I snapped them up straight away and I wore them to death. Absolutely wore them to death. I destroyed them. So they're the front pair that I'd just kick on if I got to run next door to pick up a parcel, which it usually is either a pair of shoes or something silly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So they're the front pair, the front door ones.
That's very cool. And the free, do you know what? Like that was a sleeper pair because similar to the Dunks, like the CP, like they're one that's sort of quite multicolored and easy to wear with kind of everything, right? So, I mean, it's in the name, it's Fruity Pebble, so it's kind of all of the colors of the rainbow kind of sort of thing. So very, very cool shoe. Interesting with the LeBron spin-off as well. So yeah, man. Hi there. So nice to see you. Sorry to interrupt the pod. I'll be literally 30 seconds. I just wanted to say thank you for being here. And also, if you enjoy the pod, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It really does help. Also, if you're listening on an audio platform, feel free to give us a review, whether it be positive or negative. Just leave a review. We really, really appreciate it. Also, feel free to listen to our old episodes. And if you ever want to get in contact, if you want to let me know what you're thinking, feeling, or whatever, holler at me. My name's PROZECH. PROZECH on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm enjoying TikTok at the moment, so feel free to holler at me. I will always holler back. And with all that being said, I'll let you get back to the pod. Toodles. What we're gonna do now, though, because I think I could talk to you for ages, when it comes to these things, we need to talk about socks, man. We need to talk about JOCKS SOX. You get me? How did you come up with the brand, the name, and why socks? Talk to me, man.
It's one thing a lot of people ask me actually is why socks. I think there's probably a couple of answers for it really, but I've always one of my sort of good friends used to make tie-dye socks, Tidy Tie-Dye, which is a great account.
Shout out
so
to
Mike used
guy.
to make. I probably had, no word of a lie, 30 pairs of his colour socks, and it was
man, he's a legend,
anytime
bro.
I got a new pair of shoes, I had to get a new pair of socks to match the shoes. And that, I mean, I'd always have a sort of weird love for socks anyway, making sure that I've got nice socks to match my shoes. But it's been in my head for a couple of years. I always wanted to have my own sock brand, and a couple of people have said to me, "Why socks? That's the weirdest thing to start." And I think, for me, shoes, I usually wear, I mean, I'm not wearing green now, but usually I wear black, grey, and then I let the shoes do the talking. So I always wanted socks. Yeah. I wanted socks that go with the shoes.
Say the same thing. You're going to see me just plain Jane in it. But my shoes,
I might have a little logo or something like that, or there might be something on the back, but yeah.
My shoes sing, man. I make it, I love that, man. Let my shoes do the talking. Facts.
So I wanted socks that would match the shoes and help them do the talking. But the one thing I wanted to make sure with them was that they weren't just any run-of-the-mill socks that Primark or somewhere like that you can buy 15 pairs. And I know my socks can be a little bit expensive, but in the grand scheme of things, when you're paying £6 for a coffee these days, I know which one I'd rather spend the money on.
Come on.
So it took me probably about 18 months to find the supplier I was happy with, that had the right balance, the right blend of materials, that gave the comfort that I wanted. Finally found it in January, sort of December last year. Got the samples through, spent a load of money getting samples. And I spoke to a lot of companies that disappointed me, because you always want to try and sort of veer closer to home and use factories and things like that are in your local area and all that sort of stuff. But they were asking for mad numbers to be starting up, for mad numbers. So they wanted
initial orders.
A minimum order of 3,000 pairs. Do you know what I mean?
Mate.
And for a startup company, when I'm financing it myself and I'm trying to do all that sort of stuff, that's impossible. And it's absolutely impossible. So I finally found a supplier with price tag that I was happy with, but not just the price, it was the quality of the sock that I wanted. And this supplier gave me the absolute quality that I want. And it went through the wear test, the wash test, everything, and I basically tried to absolutely destroy them, and they come out trumps every single time. And that's when I was like, bang, that's it. These are my ones. Then it was literally just finally coming up with a name, and it's been something that I'm in an R about for so long. Like, I'd be at work, if I'd be daydreaming at work, I'd be dropping down like logo ideas and thinking of names, and then literally just one, I was like, I think I was thinking about the Red Sox one day, and I saw the SOX, and I was like, oh, actually, if I just put Joe's socks on it, and it just turns into Jocks. And I ummed and ahed for ages whether or not to put the X or the CKS. And everyone I was speaking to, I was like, it's a weird question, but would you prefer X or a CKS at the end of a logo? And the majority of people said CKS, so that's what I went with.
Cool.
So Jocks is literally Joe's socks. That's where they come from.
Very cool,
and
man.
yeah, so it's a mad world. And like you said, people always ask me why socks, but I want for me as well, I want people to have comfortable socks that match their shoes, that actually, if you look forward to wearing a pair of shoes, I want you to think, actually, I've got a banging pair of socks that are comfortable that can go with those shoes as well. I want people to get excited about the socks as well as they do as the shoes, which sounds really weird, right? But I want people's feet to be comfortable at the end of the day, and I want to supply people with a comfort.
I know, I absolutely respect it. And what an amazing story like I love, like I'm a bit of an entrepreneur in that regard as well, and I do love hearing um entrepreneurs sort of tell their story in terms of how things started, and I get it, man. There's always going to be these sort of little issues that you have right at the beginning in terms of like minimum quantities and
Hmm.
stuff like that. They're really sort of barriers to entry for a lot of businesses, man. Ways
Yeah.
they're able to overcome those things is obviously just like what you said, man. That perseverance, going and going and going, trying to find a really good partner that was able to offer the quality and
Hmm.
the quantity that you were able to sort of that was viable. So no, really, really cool story, man. Definitely, people, if you didn't know before, you need to get to know Jocks Socks are definitely out here. Like I'm saying, like I'm on their website now, and you know what? Like, yeah, I'm not playing about. Right, I said I was gonna get a pair. I didn't get a pair that day. I'm getting a pair.
We got some new colours that are winging their way over to you, so man, don't worry.
Don't worry, I'm getting a pair of these, man. I'm fully getting a pair of these because, like, and I remember you had that Green Bay pair as well, and I was like, that's a very, very cool color. And I feel like that was when I saw you do that, I was like, do you know, this guy's making shoes. So this guy's making socks that fit recognizable colorways. So it's so easy to go in and see what you've got and then be like, you know what, I want that sock. So I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's very, very cool what you've got going on, man. But we'll have a chat
Thank you,
offline.
brother. Thank you,
I'm
brother.
getting some socks, right?
Thank you,
That's
brother. That means a
100%.
lot.
Yeah, no worries at all, man. That was also one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on, because not only are you doing something really cool, but like your journey into starting this is probably something that's would inspire a few people, because I can imagine some people have similar ideas, whether it be socks or other types of accessories that sort of fit within that sort of sneaker framework or that world that we live in, and they've probably got ideas and think, you know, how did that happen? So do you have any advice in terms of like things that you've experienced that you think help someone that might have a similar idea?
Yeah, I mean, like I started this up with pretty much like no starting up business knowledge at all. I mean, I've got a couple of friends that have their own businesses, but it's the furthest end of the spectrum away from any kind of fashion product whatsoever. So I did a lot of research. I'm gonna be honest, I did a lot of reading first of all, and
Mm.
doing a lot of personal market research and things that into the area where you want to go into. So I was looking at competitors and things like that, and buying pairs of socks. And I realised there were 18 quid for a pair of socks when I mean, I paid 18 quid for a pair of socks once, and it was just like, it's a great pair, but we know when you're thinking I can do better than this, and I can sell it for half this price.
Facts.
So it's a lot of market research, and then there is a lot of help out there. Actually, I know there's a few things going on with changing governments and all that sort of stuff, and there's a lot of schemes that are being canned at the moment. But there's grants out there for small businesses that you can apply for, and there's a whole huge array of grants that people can apply for to help you get along. And one of the ones I applied for, so I took a small loan, but actually you pay it off monthly with it. But what you actually get is a business mentor for a year with that loan. So realistically,
Fantastic.
you're paying a heck of a lot cheaper per month for that business mentor than you would do if you were to try and find someone and you
This
got
is it.
recommended someone.
Absolutely. And plus you get the capital as well, which is helpful.
That's exactly it. You get the
Yeah.
capital that you can reinvest to it, and you've got someone that can help you. I mean, my mentor Maria, she's absolutely unbelievable, and she's opened my eyes into the world of business that I probably would never have had if I didn't speak to her and if she didn't mentor me in those sort of ways. And she was originally an optician, and then she's just gone into all different routes of business, almost sort of like a Dragon's Den sort of character. But yeah, so it's just about not being afraid to ask for help, not getting downhearted. I mean, it's a really scary thing. The day I launched the website, I was terrified that no one's going to go on there, no one's going to buy any pairs, anything like that. But you just have that sort of false hope, and you just keep that faith that it's going to happen. And some people, like you said, some people they'll put something on Instagram one day and it blows up, and then other people. I've signed at Pots. Joe Wicks, for example, does it for 6, 7, 8 years, and it keeps trying, keeps pushing, keep pushing, and eventually it clicks. So you've just got to try and be sensible with yourself. And then I know I would love to be able to do this full time, but unfortunately that's not possible at the moment because we've got bills to pay, we've got kids, we've got mortgages, and things like that. So this is something I do on the side at the moment with a hope that actually one day this is going to click and it will become my main business. So it's just that perseverance. It's not letting, and like, for example, I keep saying perseverance, but if you don't sell any for 2 weeks, don't be, I've not sold anything for 2 weeks. So then 1 week you sell 300 pairs, and that comes out of absolutely nowhere. And it could be because you spent £2 on Instagram advertising or something like that. So it's really weird how it works. It's really,
nuts.
really weird. So it's just about that perseverance, about sticking with it and not getting down about it. And if it's a passionate thing, and like you always say, people, if you love your job, you don't go to work any day. Once I can do this full time, I won't be working. So if you've got to find that niche where you're happy with and something that you're really passionate with, and like I said, it's not going to feel like work if you're enjoying it.
Absolutely, man. Like, Joe, yeah, you couldn't have said it any better, man. You literally, I really do appreciate the insight, and you're so right. You're so right. It can be really up and down. I've had businesses in the past, and I suppose obviously having the podcast is a business of in a sense, and like there's gonna be days when certain episodes, not this one obviously, because this one's gonna probably be 4 or 5 million downloads, but like there were certain episodes where it doesn't do as well as others, and sometimes you get a little down on yourself. You start thinking, what can I do? But the one of the best things that I have in my mind in terms of advice is, don't let your highs be too high, and don't let your lows be too low. Just try and keep that sort of that level-headed mindset, sort of like you're doing what you love. That's the goal. That's the prize. You're doing what you love, and even though we're not in a position to this be the main business now, you keep on pursuing it in that way, and it will pay. It will certainly pay dividends in the future. So I'm 100% sure JOCKS Socks will definitely be out here. You're gonna be sitting on a pile of money. You get me, man? In a fresh pair of socks. You get me? But yeah, no, definitely. Thank you so much for the insight, bro. I've got to ask you a question. It's one of my favorites. It's Desert Island Kicks. Right, I know what socks you're going to be wearing, but I need to know what kicks you're going to be wearing. You're stuck on a desert island. You don't know how you got there, but you've got 2 pairs of kicks with you. What 2 pairs of kicks would you have with you, and why?
See, now I was watching this on your other podcast, and I was thinking about this all day at work. I was like, would I go practical and choose something that's going to help me? But then I was like, I'm 6'4" and I weigh loads, so I'm never going to be able to climb a palm tree anyway to get any sort of coconuts. So that's just irrelevant. So at least I'll try and look fly on the beach. I think sentimental wise, I'd have to have my Sakai's with me just because I love them so much. It's such a sentimental affair to me. And then just in case a cruise ship comes past, I think I'll have the Fragment Travis, just so someone can say, oh, there's a guy on the beach, but damn, he's got some fly kicks on.
Bro, I'm with you 1,000%. I'm with you 1,000%. Like, I just love that answer 100%. Bro, you need a pair that you're gonna actually wear. I get it, right? I get it. Like, and to be fair, I mean, the blazers aren't the most comfortable. That's my thing. That's always been with blazers. But I mean, I don't know what it is. I'm similar to you. I love blazers. My wife hates the blazers, so I ended up having to get rid of a few of mine because of how much she hates them. Right? But like, they are not comfortable. But I love comfortable shoes, but they are not comfortable.
They're so hard to get on.
Yes, it's the height of them and the narrowness of them, and it's like, but I love them. It's so weird, right? So then you've got that. But then having the Travis as well, just like that gives you that hope, and just being that fly guy on the beach. Like, no, I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm a big fan of that answer. Very, very good. Very, very good. We're going to do some quick fires, right? Going to do some quick fires. Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Only thing I'm asking, just speak from the heart, speak from the chest. No dilly-dally on these.
Of course.
You get me? It's all good. It's all good. If you do answer in a weird or funny way, I will come back to it. Don't get me wrong, right? But there's no judgment officially. If you're ready, I can go.
Let's go for it, man.
All right, in 3, 2, 1. Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
New Balance or Adidas?
Ooh, New Balance.
Is it Nike or Nike?
Do you know what? I saw a video on this literally probably 20 minutes before I came on there, and it was guys that were moaning at how English people pronounce Nike. I'm a London boy. It's Nike.
It's a Nike thing, bro. The thing is, I'm coming round to it because the more people I'm interviewing, obviously people that are like in the industry and actually talk to actually, or either work at Nike or actually like are those kind. I'm not hearing it, but like I've grown up
Nike.
saying Nike. I'm good with Nike, man. Either way, we're saying the name, it's all good. Can you wear Nike and Adidas together? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, I've kind of asked you this already, but I mean it's good for completeness. What was your last sneakers win?
It was a pretty decent win. Let me see if it's still on here actually. Where is it? Where is it? I got very, very lucky. Oh, the picture's not on there. It was the chlorophylls, but the picture's not on there. It's just the order, but it was the chlorophylls, which was ridiculous. I entered it, went to a meeting at work, came back, and I was the usual. I was ready to be like, oh well, never mind. Thanks for entering. But came back and saw the email, and I was just like, whoa! So yeah, they dropped. So I was very, very lucky. Very lucky.
The 20th anniversary fair.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. I have said it on this podcast, and I have said it in my personal life to friends. That is like it's like my number one Air Max 1.
Oh,
it's my
best beautiful,
one, right?
It's genuinely beautiful.
Obviously, the original one, but like this new pair that came out, I was like, bro, I need a pair of these. Said it as many times as I could, got nothing. Right, even gave a pair away. Shout out to Social. Even had a giveaway. Ended up giving a pair away, and like had to give the shoe away. I actually had the shoe and I had to give it away. But
you're a better man than I, man.
Yeah, unbelievable.
I struggled to give those away.
It's unbelievable what I had to go through. But God was good, man. We ended up getting a pair, so we've got that back now. So balance has been restored, man. So I've got my pair. So I'm with you. I'm with you on the chlorophylls. Absolutely a legendary pair. Let's jump back into this. Do you have a Jordan number? And if so, what is your Jordan number?
It's 1. Yeah, I think, which is it's pretty generic. But yeah, for me, anything, I really struggle with anything over a 5. I really struggle with anything over a 5.
I mean, the comfort on all of them is wild. But I mean, but I hear you on that. 3s are decent. 1s are okay. I was over the weekend. I was wearing 1s for a while. Like obviously not like easy, comfortable, but manageable. No. You can manage them. 4s.
The thing is, once they're broken. Once they're broken in, they're all right. Like I was really lucky. I got a pair of the Nigel Sylvester ones probably about 6 months ago. Yeah. And they are comfy as hell. I don't know if it's because the materials on the song are good. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Like if I go out all day, I'm sticking those on my feet because I know they're comfortable and I'm walking 10, 15,000 steps and they don't cause me any issues whatsoever.
Okay. Oh man, Nigel Sylvester does good shoes, man. Shout out to him and his RM as well. He did some great business this year. Okay. YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok?
YouTube.
Love it. Sneakers, kicks, or crepes?
Oh, it's upgraded throughout the years. It used to be crepes, but I think I say sneakers now.
The North Londoners come out now. He says sneakers. Spotify or Apple?
Apple.
What's your favorite collaboration?
Ooh, at the moment, definitely the Action Bronson Rosewaters on the New Balance. They are exquisite. I love those.
What he's been doing with New Balance has actually been really, really good. I love that collaboration. They're great partners for one another. It makes a lot of sense. Vans or Converse?
Vans. Can't wear Converse. They destroy my feet. They're too narrow. I got wide boy feet. I can't wear Converse. So Vans or the pair of black and white checkered Vans. Yes, please. Sign me up.
Decent. Laces or slip-ons?
Laces.
Default laces, or do you pattern your laces?
Mine are overs, so I know I always go over on mine, and then I've got to make sure that on my pairs I'm really sort of finicky with it as well, that it's the opposite as well. So if the left goes over on the right one, the right's got to come over on the left one. So yeah.
And I'm on over as well. Customized shoes, so custom designs, or GR's factory settings?
GR factory settings.
Retro or innovation?
Retros.
Flip flops or sliders?
Flip flops.
Big question, this one now. Big question. Socks or barefoot?
Now, do you know what? I've said flip flops, but I think I've got to go sliders. I'm wrong. I'm going to go sliders, but
Okay.
I can't wear socks with my sliders. I can't do it.
Okay.
I can't do it. I can completely respect. I just can't do it. I find it uncomfortable as soon as you put my foot, like Yeezy slides. I don't know how people wear socks with them because as soon as you put them in there, it pulls the socks up. I don't know how people do it.
Yeah, this is the reason why I can't do easy slides, because I can't actually slide in. Like no. I can't, because it is quite narrow. The thing is, it's wide, right, but it's low. Right?
You got to get 15 sizes bigger than your original size.
Bro, I went up to I'm a size 12. I ended up getting a size 16. Yeah, I ended up going to a size 16. It was ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I said, it's just not for me. And the weirdest thing of all, I know, not weird, but it was annoying, was the fact that when I did try them on, they were literally the bounciest, most comfortable.
Oh, they're so comfortable. But it's just getting your foot in first of all.
Comfortable slides I've ever put on my feet ever in life. So I do understand why people are like literally ride or die with the slides. But yeah, just couldn't make it make sense, man. I just couldn't make it make sense. But yeah, no, I'm down for that. Comfort or style?
Comfort.
Fresh and clean or beaten and battered?
Ooh, it depends on the pair, but I'm pretty anal with keeping them fresh and clean.
I like that. Washing machine or hand washer kicks?
Oh, it's hand washing. The Climacles, my original pair of Climacles, were destroyed by a washing machine, and I have never to this day forgotten it because I was a young man that I thought they needed a clean. I put them in the washing machine on a hot wash. I still don't really know how to use it. And man, when I say they came out and they were folded in half, I had to. That's what actually killed them off in the end of it. I tried to wear them, but they would hurt my feet because they were so melted and bent.
Oh my!
And that's what killed the original Climacles. Oh, the joy.
Unbelievable scenes. Hot wash, absolutely, yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I was a young stupid man.
Absolutely, yeah. It's an absolute rascal, that one. Okay, lows, mids, or highs?
Lows.
And last question: triple blacks or white and whites?
So I've veered towards more white on whites, but the most recent black on black orange label SB Dunks are something that are exquisite looking. But I think the problem I feel like I always have, whenever I wear all black shoes, a couple of my friends have said to me, well, your feet look tiny in them. So
they will do, yeah.
That's the problem, and because I'm 6'4", if I look like I've got tiny feet, I look like a bit of a clown. So they just rinse me for it. So I'm gonna have to go white on white.
I respect it. Yeah, that's definitely a reason to go white on white. The last couple of questions I'm gonna say to you is sort of what a lot of us refer to as the sneakerheads. It's what people refer to the culture, the industry, the people within the industry. But just in your opinion, what is a sneakerhead?
Someone that, this is probably the really generic answer that I've seen you get a couple of times, it's buying something that you love. It's not just buying it to rep it on Instagram or anything like that, or what's going to get me the most likes. It's walking into that shop and looking around and seeing have that pair that catches your eye, that again might be on sale, that might have only just come out, wherever it is. But there's always going to be that one pair that catches your eye that you go, you're coming home with me. I'm picking you up. You're coming home with me. Hopefully, if they got the size. But so all my friends, I mean, I've got a couple of my friends into shoes recently over the last couple of years, but a lot of my friends don't understand it, and they'll look at my shoes and they go, God, your shoes are really loud. And I'm not wearing them for you. I'm wearing them for me. That's the thing for me. I look forward to the weekend where I can go into the drawer and pick out a pair of shoes that I'm going to wear. And if the weather's good, I'm bringing out the yellow Travis Canaries because I love those. Or if the weather's not so good, I'm slipping on a pair of Jordan 1s that are all leather or those sort of things. So I wear things for me that if you might look at my shoes and think, oh, they're weird. What's he looking at them? And then again, say, I'm not wearing them for you. I'm wearing them for me.
Love that, bro. You get me? I'm not wearing them for you. I'm wearing them for me. And we love that, man. It's a great way to end. But before we do, gotta ask the question. are you, Joe Wilkinson of JOCKS Socks? Are you a sneakerhead?
Oh yeah, guilty, absolutely guilty as charged.
Not only
Guilty
are
as
you,
charged.
not only are you a sneakerhead of the highest order, my friend, you are a Kicks Chronicles certified sneakerhead. You get me?
You're a legend, Zach, man.
The boy's 30. The boy's 30. You get me, man? Absolute legend of the game. Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast.
No, the pleasure's been mine, bro. Honestly, it's been absolutely mine. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, no, this has been sick, man. Really, really cool to have you on, man. Talk about the business, talk about your love for kicks, man. As I said to you earlier, about 5-6 million people are gonna watch this, so we're gonna have to make sure that they know how to get in contact.
Thank you, bro.
So talk to the people. Tell them what you've got going on, how they can get involved.
So the website is jocksocks.co.uk. So it's jocksocks.co.uk. And the main sort of social to go for it, Instagram, and that's jocks.socks. And it's just jocks spelled normally, but then .sox, because that was the only one we could get. So yeah, jocks.socks on Instagram.
So I like the SOX. I'm a fan of the SOX. I know what your friend said, but I'm a fan of the SOX. So, because I feel like it like ties in with the American culture, with the White Sox, Red Sox, and all of that sort of stuff. So I feel like I get it, right? I get it. But yeah, that's really, really cool. People, make sure to go light Joe up on all the socials. Make sure to go and check out the website as well, man. Really, really sort of clean, good pairs. You get me, decent price, like really well made, good quality. I've seen them in hand, and as I said, I'm getting some. Definitely some. So yeah, we're gonna hook that up after. But like people, like this has been another episode of Kicks Chronicles. Our special guest this week was the amazing Joe Wilkinson from
Thank you, brother.
From JOCKS Socks. You get me? Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all of those things that you're meant to do, that a lot of you don't do, but you're meant to do. Also, if you're listening to this, feel free to give us a 5-star review. Really does help. Honestly, even if you're upset with something, just put the 5 stars in and let's have a chat. Want to get in contact, kickschronicles@gmail.com. You get me? Or reach out to me on social media. My name is PROZECH on every social media platform. So feel free to do that. And once again, thank you, Joe, for joining us this evening.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for all your this sounds really silly, but thank you for all your hard work in the community as well. You bring a lot of stuff together, and we see you at events and things like that, and you're always so friendly. You talk to everyone. There's never, you never ignore anyone or anything like that. And anyone that comes to talk to you, always give them the time of day to spend 2 or 3, 4, 5 minutes talking to them as well. It's a really good thing to see. So again, thank you for you as well.
Oh, bro, man, that's so sweet, man. Thank you so much for saying that, man. I did not pay him to say that, people. I really do appreciate it, Joe. You're an absolute legend of the game, bro. And the same could be said for you, man. Thank you so much, man. Because I was breaking the 4-4, I was gonna do that panel discussion, and obviously eBay were there sponsoring the event. So I was a little bit nervous. You were the first person I saw that day, and you definitely, speaking to you, calmed my nerves, man. So I do really appreciate it, man. It was really,
thank you, bro.
That was one of the other reasons I definitely wanted to get you on the podcast, man, and chat about these amazing socks. Guys, like, as I said, do all of those great things. Really do appreciate it. I will be seeing you very, very soon. We have got some more amazing guests lined up. Your boy don't stop. Stay hungry, stay active, stay busy. You get me, man? And if you want to see some more amazing guests like Joe, you need to do those things, the likes and the subscribes and all of those things, man. Help your boy out, man. But yeah, guys, until I see you guys down the road, please, everyone, look after yourselves and stay blessed. Thank you for listening to this episode of Kicks Chronicles. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, rate, review, and all that good stuff. And remember, full video version is available on YouTube, audio versions available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.